Thank you so much for joining our Creating a Stellar Job Application, CVs, Cover Letters, and Strategic Networking webinar today, hosted by the Polar Science Early Career Community Office, or PSECO, in conjunction with the Cooperative Institute for Research in Environmental Sciences, or CIRES, and CIRES Early Career Assembly.
We're going to kick off the event with a few introductions before diving in. Hello, I'm Mariama Dryak-Valleys. I'm the director for PSECO, and I'm joined by a wonderful team member, Madison, who's the PSECO event coordinator. Madison, if you could give a wave, that'd be great. Madison and I will both be acting as tech support today and supporting our feature speaker, Jimena Ugas, who is with CIRES HR. But before we get started, there are a couple of things we want to draw your attention to. At the core of PSECO is building welcoming environments for everyone, and so we expect all attendees will adhere to PSECO's community guidelines when interfacing with others on the call. Madison's pasting a link to that, our community guidelines in the chat, but there's a reminder of what is called out in those community guidelines on the screen as well. Many of us here do polar science in locations across the United States and beyond, with research focused on both poles and in high alpine regions across the world. And we want to acknowledge that much of that science takes place on the unceded traditional territories and ancestral homelands of Indigenous peoples. And that some of the research done in these locations has historical roots in colonialism. With this land acknowledgement, we celebrate the many contributions of Native peoples to our understanding of the polar regions and recognize the sophisticated and intricate knowledge systems that Indigenous peoples have and continue to develop in relationship to their lands. With that, I'm going to pass it over to Madison, who's going to be giving us an overview of what to expect for today.
Yeah, awesome. Hi. So today you'll be hearing from Jimena. She's the talent acquisition and training manager at the Cooperative Institute for Research in Environmental Sciences, or CIRES. And then following her presentation, there'll be about 15-ish minutes for a Q&A session. And that during that Q&A session, you can either post your questions directly in the chat, or you could anonymously message me and I can share it out on behalf of you. And then we also encourage folks to post your questions throughout the presentation as you think of them, and then we can read them out afterwards. All right. And then a little bit more about Jimena before I pass it off to her. So some of her responsibilities, they include guiding our hiring teams on sound and effective recruitment practices, promoting professional development, so something like this workshop. And then she also leads initiatives as part of the CIRES Mentoring Program Committee. And with that, I will go ahead and pass it off to Jimena.
Wonderful, Madison. Thank you so much for the introduction. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Alrighty, so we have a full agenda. My presentation is going to be about 30 minutes, okay? Alrighty, so what are we talking about today? A job search strategy that you should have before you start, how AI is used in the job search and how can you leverage it to your advantage. We're going to talk about cover letters. We're going to talk about the difference between a resume for industry and a CV for academia positions. We're going to talk about how LinkedIn can be used for networking. And finally, we're going to ask you to complete a 2-minute feedback form for us so we can continue to improve. And also, we're going to have at least a 15-minute Q&A. Okay, so let's dive into it. Alrighty, so looking for a job is overwhelming. And so we need to have a strategy where we prioritize quality over quantity related to the amount of jobs that we apply to. When we start a job search, we need to acknowledge the landscape. All of us working in environmental polar sciences know that their funding unknowns and funding cuts and that the market is tough. And so you have to start your job search with that in mind. And is that an invitation for you to pivot? Meaning, would you consider jobs that in general you wouldn't be, but because of the state of the market, maybe you need to be a little bit more open to finding not my, trampoline job that is going to start and launch my career, but maybe something temporary. Now, when you think about your job search, you need to be clear on the industry. Are you just going to do polar science? Are you going to do environmental science? Are you just open to anything right now because you need to pay your bills? And that is completely fine. Yes, so I'm talking about industry, I'm talking about title. What type of positions are you going to? Is it technician positions? Is it professor positions? Is it scientist positions in academia and in industry? What salary and the timeline? And usually those go together. So I can spend the first 2 months looking for salary X. And then as time goes by, maybe I need to lower my expectation. And the timeline is important. It's important to have a plan. It's important to visualize all these elements. And identify specific companies. If your dream is to work for Microsoft, visit their website and visit their career site. Visit the type of jobs that they have, the wording, what is the mission, vision, values of the company, and have all of that in mind so that you include it in your application materials. Your CV and your LinkedIn profile should be aligned. The cover letter is where you always have a little bit more wiggle room and where you should take advantage to make that cover letter tailored to every single job description and company. But your LinkedIn profile should not be changing from week to week, and your CV should not either. Okay, discipline, be disciplined, have a structure. It is said that looking for a job is a part-time job, and I agree. If you're a full-time student, full-time worker right now, you probably cannot invest as much time in your job search as if you are unemployed. But know what you're doing and know how much time you're spending, because you may have this idea that you're spending all day, every day looking for a job, and you really are doing 2 to 3 hours when you put it together. So have a schedule, but also have time off and lean on your community, your family, your friends, people who are also looking for a job, other professionals, co-workers, and data. Do data analysis of your job search conversions, meaning you got interviews, or rejections. And yes, it is very common that today you're putting in tons of applications and you're not getting even a response. That is completely normal today. Okay, next slide, please. Alrighty, so talent. I am going to start with this definition by the Talent Management Institute, which is a credentialing body that you know if you're in the field of HR like I am. Their definition of talent is a person with high-level technical skills and the potential to lead a team. And I want to draw your attention to this definition because today, and especially in the world of AI, it is not enough to have the technical skills. So employers are looking for integrity and accountability, leadership, adaptability, innovation, effective communication. And Joep, we will get to the questions after the presentation because a lot of these questions are going to be answered as I move along from slide to slide. So you may not have these questions by the time we're done. And so in the interest of time, we're going to do the presentation first and then hold the questions for the end, okay? But I will definitely answer your question. Alrighty, so this idea that talent is more than the technical skills. Remember that leadership, mentorship, accountability, ability to pivot. This is AI, as one of your skills, data analytics. These are all things that matter, and some of them are technical, and some of them are soft skills. Okay, next slide, please. Alrighty, so how are employers using AI to review applications? Why is this important to you? Because I want you to keep this in mind as you're getting your information together, okay, as you're getting your applications together. So Employers are using AI to analyze job ads for unbiased language even before posting. We do this at the University of Colorado Boulder. We have a tool called Textio that grades, gives an evaluation to the job postings that we write and tell us, I think you should change this word to X because it's a more inclusive term or because it has more appeal to both men and women. So we use it every day. To protect the candidates, some AI tools are masking demographic data in the CVs and cover letters. So when search committee members are reading these CVs, they don't know if it is a man, a woman. They are taken away indirect mentions or indirect allusions to age, for example. Now, this is the most important of all the things that AI is doing. So AI is parsing and extracting information from your CVs for easier comparison. So you may have heard the term, I am getting rejected by the bots. Yes, if you don't have a naked resume, and that's what I'm going to show you next, it is possible that the ATS is unable to extract the information that it wants to present it so that recruiters and hiring teams can compare apples to apples. So the parsing of the information from your CV and cover letter are key, okay? Also, the bots are recognizing equivalent skills across different terminologies. A project manager somewhere may be the same as a program manager somewhere else. An IT developer may be the same as a software developer somewhere else. So they're trying to make CVs and people and candidates comparable, easier for comparison, okay? Alrighty. Using keyword algorithms to match candidates to job descriptions and to rank them. What does that mean? Like how many terms did you hit from the job description when you were writing the cover letter or in your resume? And that's why you need to really read job descriptions and extract keywords from job descriptions when you write your materials. Okay, they're also assessing writing quality, alignment with company values, sentiment, and intent. So in some companies, we don't do it at the University of Colorado Boulder, they are giving you a score based on what your intent is in the cover letter. They may read things as to, do they have the intention to stay? Now, using predictive analytics on past hiring data to estimate future performance. This is common. This has been done for a while. For example, in the last 3 hires, we offer positions to people who had at least 5 years of experience as project managers. They did outstanding. So I am going to use this metric of 5 years experience in project manager to predict and to assume that the next ones I hire, they have similar experience, they're going to be as successful. That is predictive analytics. Okay, next slide, please. So how are you going to leverage AI for your job search? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Copilot and Gemini and Claude and what is the other one, ChatGPT, just look it up, open a Google window and say, what is Copilot? How is it used? Okay, but we should all today be familiar with these tools. So you can feed a job description into your bot. At the University of Colorado Boulder, we are asked to use Microsoft Copilot, and you can ask Copilot to give you the 5 main responsibilities of this job description and have that be the start of your job search. That is how you are going to write your cover letter, focusing on the 5 main functions and responsibilities of the job. I highly recommend that you write cover letters yourself, that you write your CVs yourself. Now, what you can do is feed specific paragraphs or bullet point sections into Copilot, in our case, and just ask for it to tell you if there are sections which are redundant, if English is not your first language, like in my case, just to check for prepositions that are always troublesome. Of course, ask Copilot to check your grammar, and always ask Copilot to identify what are the changes that she has made so you can accept or reject those changes. Obviously, you have to check all the content. Please never feed a job description into the bot and say, write me a CV and cover letter. That is a horrible idea. We receive a lot of cover letters that had nothing to do with what the person did. And those are, really cause a lot of rejection. So those candidates that the resume has nothing to do with the cover letter and the cover letter is the same as the job description, really is not a good strategy. You should write your cover letter yourself. And if you have an interview, feed the position description into the bot and say, ask me questions. And then when you answer questions and you type your answers, say, what did I do right? And you will get outstanding output with a critique of your answer. So I highly recommend it. Next, please. Alrighty, so general tips on cover letters. Clearly communicate why this job, why this company, why now. How does that job fit into your overall career path? The cover letter is an opportunity to introduce yourself and your unique qualities, because yes, we're all unique. So that's what you want to highlight in this document. Explain your employment gaps. Don't shy away from them. If you were taking care of your children for 8 years, say so, okay? Don't leave room for imagination. If you're applying to a job that is not local, then tell them, I am eager to move to Dallas. It's a city that has always called me. Or yes, my parents live on the East Coast, so I am delighted about the possibility of moving to Boston, okay? Already, your narrative must demonstrate that you can do the job. When I'm done with the cover letter, I should be absolutely sure that that you can do the job, that you're qualified to do the job. So that your cover letter should really demonstrate your skill, but also confidence and assertiveness, okay? Show strong communication skills. If you put in your resume that you have great communication skills, and then you send in a cover letter that has 2 or 3 typos, that's not going to go well for you. And yes, it is true that a lot of, not only bots, but a lot of search committee members who are faced today with piles and piles of CVs and cover letters may decide to take you out for something as little as a few typos, okay? Emphasize your soft skills and your growth mindset, how you can do individual work, but you're also a team player, your agility, your ability to pivot, your customer service, your accountability, your ability to connect with people and establish trusting relationships. Okay, next slide, please. Yes. So the cover letter now, I'm going to talk about the structure, right? And I always say that there is never a second chance to give a first impression. And I love that. Now, for the first paragraph of your cover letter, if you do not have the contact of the person who posted the job, like the recruiter whose information you got on LinkedIn, use Dear Hiring Committee, Dear Hiring Committee members. But don't use to whom it may concern, like we used to do in the old days when we wrote letters. Mention a strong reason why you want to work for this amazing company. And I'm saying this amazing company because you're going to demonstrate that you know what they do. And why? Because you've been to their website and you've read a lot about them. And align your tone to the tone of the company in the cover letter. Use keywords or synonyms from their values, their mission, and their vision statement. So I read cover letters a lot. Every day, every week, I'm reading cover letters. And it's really a punch in the face when someone just takes 2 lines from our CIRES page and copies how they want to contribute to the mission of CIRES, and they give me 2 or 3 lines of our own website. So you want to use some words, you want to use some synonyms of the key values, but you don't want to copy from their mission and vision statements. Okay, alrighty, next slide. Okay, the main body. For the main body, don't focus on your career and you. Focus on them. Focus on what your contributions will be through this job and to the company. And of course, if it's a higher level position, what your contributions will be to the profession. So you have the job, you have the team, you have the company, you have the profession. Okay. Alrighty, and emphasize the main content in bold. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes when I have to review 25 cover letters and I open the first one and it is 2.5 pages, my heart sinks. And I'm very grateful for the bolded words and the main ideas highlighted in them. And yes, a lot of cover letter readers will skim through your cover letters. Now, when you make it to the first round, the first screening round, or the final, the interview, people are really reading your materials. But you want to make sure that if it is a 2-page academic cover letter, which is not uncommon to write over a page, then yes, highlight main words. Okay, and next slide. Okay, so for the final paragraph, the closing, I'm going to give credit to Jenny Foss. So Jenny Foss is just a recruiter and a job search coach whose training I took on LinkedIn Learning. And I borrow her summary of what the final paragraph of a cover letter should be because I thought it was right on and I couldn't rewrite it. So summarize, you're a great candidate. Show enthusiasm and confidence. Ask for the interview and thank the committee members for their time. Okay, so you're putting it all together. And asking for the interview may sound as, I will be delighted to meet at a convenient time to further discuss how I could contribute to your team. Something along those lines. Okay, next slide, please. Alrighty, resume format. So I was talking before about a naked resume format. And if we could please, Madison, put the template link in the chat. That's what a resume format is. And today, because of the bots, and because of the commonplace of having a bot just extract information from your CV before it makes it to human eyes, I highly, highly, highly recommend a format like the one we just shared. Okay, and how can you test that your actual CV is making it through the bot? Well, when you're applying for a position, upload your resume in this format to the application, and you will see if your education populated in their education section, if your core skills and abilities populated into the core competencies or skill sections. And that's why using the title suggested in this format is also important. Don't have fancy titles, have the common titles usually used by applicant tracking systems. Okay, use standard fonts. You have some there. Mirror the job description using terminology from the posting. That's where the algorithm is going to be favorable to you, what we were talking before, how employers are using AI. So use a lot of the terminology. They're looking for expense reports and payroll experience and program management. Just include those if you have those skills and abilities or closing or a very close resemblance to the experience they're talking. And if you run into your dream job, it's okay to apply. However, if you don't meet the minimum qualifications of the job, don't apply. It's a waste of your time. So the market is so competitive that you should always meet the minimum qualifications. The preferred skills, go ahead and apply if you don't meet them. But the minimum qualifications, if it asks for 10 years of experience and you just graduated with a bachelor's and you have no experience, don't apply to the job because you're not going to make it through. Okay, use a logical structure that aligns with job expectations. What does this mean? If they're talking about 10 responsibilities, don't focus all of your narrative in your skills and abilities to perform one of those responsibilities. Hit 6, 7 of them through your CV and your narrative. Use action verbs and quantify achievements. So they want to see numbers, budgets, dates, how you cut a process in half by doing X, Y, and Z. And numbers are really, so another way to say it is focus on results. In a CV, the CV should not just regurgitate your duties and responsibilities, but focus on your achievements or the result of your actions. So the template that we should just share, what I'm doing in the next slide, please, is just describing what the resume is, okay? The extension, 1 or 2 pages. We're talking about industry. Do not include a picture of yourself, please. Don't include any pictures, boxes, tables, drawings, or you may be rejected by the applicant tracking system trying to extract your information. Include a summary, include a skills or core competencies sections. I would say skills. In the experience section, include 3 to 5 duties per job title and include both the month and the year of when you started and when you finished that job. And for your main experience section, for every job, use the formula why. What was it that you did? How did you do it? What was the impact? Okay. So improve the hiring process. How did you do this? By launching a training for hiring committees. And the impact was that we reduced the time to hire from 65 days to 40. Use strong action verbs and metrics. And this means, again, focusing on results and using numbers, measurements. For experience prior to 2010, list as additional experience. And you really don't even need to include the dates. If you're talking about experience performed 15 years ago, you can just say additional experience if this experience is not directly related to the job to which you're applying, or if it is way in the past. So way in the past or not directly related, I will put in an additional experience section, and you will mention less duties per job title here. And education, if it makes you nervous, if you think you are being met with discrimination, age discrimination, you can always redact the year of graduation and not include it at all. Okay, next slide. Okay, the academic CV is different. Okay, for the academic CV, it's going to be longer. Okay, and the education should go prior to experience. It's the other way around in industry. The academic appointment should precede the industry jobs. Okay, so the education should be first, and then you will have your academic appointments, and then you can say, and then you can say that the that you have additional experience, or you can say private experience or company experience, but following your academic appointments. Okay, so what is part of the academic CV that you don't find in a short resume that you submit for industry? Publications or selection, presentations or selection, service to the profession and the community, grants and fellowships you received, professional memberships. Okay, and we will definitely go and address the questions in the Q&A section. Alrighty, so let's continue on and let's move to the next slide, please. Alrighty, LinkedIn. If you are here today, you should have a LinkedIn account, okay? But seriously, if you work, if you're a student, or if you're looking for a job, you have to have LinkedIn, okay? And we can put in the chat, Madison, how to get started for people who do not have an account. And there are tons of guides on how to create your LinkedIn profile and join. Okay, so LinkedIn allows you to build a professional network. Do not post pictures of your cat or your dog. Do not talk about your kid. Just keep it absolutely professional. This is not Instagram. This is not Facebook. It's a professional platform. And recruiters use LinkedIn all the time to identify talent, okay? Because a lot of them get paid by finding people who are qualified. You can use an open to work banner around your name, although I am not positive if you can do that if you don't have LinkedIn Premium. That we will have to look and find the answer for. Once you're a member of LinkedIn, you can join organizations and local chapters. You can comment on articles of interest of other professionals. You can reach out to professionals working on similar fields and ask them, invite them to connect. And you can connect with local employees at companies of interest. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, LinkedIn Premium is for a fee. And this is a premium service. It should cost between $30 and $45 a month. And it is a good option. If I were out of a job, I would on and off get on LinkedIn Premium. So you can use it for a month, maximize it, be every day on LinkedIn, making those connections with recruiters, and then get a few months off. If you still haven't found a job, you can pay for another month. So it offers analytics. It gives you recommendations. It sends you job matches. That's how I found the job at which I'm working. I've been working for the last 6 years. So it sends you recommendations, the matches, okay? And it tells you you will be a top applicant, you will be a good applicant, there is a low match with you on the job. Those are not for jobs that it sends you, but for jobs that you click on. When it sends them to you, it's usually because you're a very good match. And you can reach out directly to the job poster. So it has a system of emails, credits. And why is this important? Because you're a really good match, then you can talk to the recruiter directly and say, look at my CV, look at my cover letter. And now you know that a human is going to read your materials. Okay, and includes a LinkedIn Learning option for upskilling. LinkedIn Learning is an infinite platform where you have all kinds of courses and credentials, a lot of them for free. And the University of Colorado Boulder, if you're an employee of us, then you have the option of, you have access to LinkedIn Learning, not LinkedIn Premium, LinkedIn Learning. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so here I've just, my colleague, Kristen Cassis in CIRES HR has picked some how-tos for you, but you have to have access to LinkedIn Learning to access this video. Again, if you're an employee of the University of Colorado Boulder, you don't know how to access this page, you should go to your tiles and pick training, and that's where you will see a tile for LinkedIn Learning. Find out if you're not part of the University of Colorado Boulder, find out if your company gives you access to this or ask them to pay for it, and they may. Okay, already you can watch those on your own and you will get access to the slides, so you will definitely have access to all those links. Next slide, please. Alrighty, so upskilling. If you're an employee of the University of Colorado Boulder, you cannot miss out on this. So as of the last 2 months, we have an agreement with Coursera, and we have access to all these incredible certifications for free. So click on the Career Academy Boulder, and there's the link. For example, for project management that we used to have to pay to the Project Management Institute between $600 and $1,000, $1,400 if you wanted their books. You have all the materials. It's not PMI, but you can get a certification in project management for free as a University of Colorado employee or anyone with access to Career Academy through other institutions for free. And it will be from Microsoft, it will be from Google, and there's a third one. You can do all of them, okay? Alrighty, next slide, please. Alrighty, networking. What is your objective? What is networking? Networking is creating a group of professionals around you that if you happen to not have a job in the future, they can help you out. If you want to find someone to work with you on a grant, this is a good place to find someone, and LinkedIn is essential in networking. But so what is your objective? What is it that you want to get out of networking? Is it more people to know about what you do? Is it that you want to Is it that you want to look for a job and that's the main reason you're not working? Or is it just that you are so passionate about polar science that you want to know everyone who's working on the same subjects as you are? So have a clear idea. Now, I cannot emphasize this enough. Go to presentations, go to career fairs, go to conferences and talk highly about yourself, introduce yourself and talk about your work. And this is something that a lot of us don't like about the jobs that we do, but this is the way it works. You have to introduce yourself. You have to get over that barrier of being shy and modest. And you have to get yourself out there and ask for help. For example, if you need a referral. Now, I go to career fairs maybe 4 times a year. It's one of my favorite things to do because I talk to all the students with all the passion for the profession. And I went to one sponsored by the Quantum Physics Department at CU Boulder, where the attendees blew my mind in the terms of preparation and what they were doing already and such a young time in their career, like second year during their bachelor's level education. And I took some CVs with me. But, 2 of those CVs, I sent them directly to hiring committee chairs because they were in line with what we were looking for. So always talk to recruiters, always go to career fair, always have a copy of your CV and ask them, any of your openings, do you think I'll be a fit? Do I qualify? And recruiters want to help you, the majority of them. On the other hand, I will say, don't take it personally. I've had a friend looking for a job. Recruiters used to reach out to him, not the other way around. And when he said he was interested in the company and the job that was being offered, completely ghosted. So there are a lot of people who are unprofessional, just not kind, don't have empathy, and you cannot take it personally. Okay. So how do you use LinkedIn for networking? For relationship building and to show interest in colleagues' work. So it's not take. You have to also review people's work and you also have to help others. It's not all about you. To join relevant organizations that may host annual networking events, and this is a channel for you to find out and attend those events. And to identify local top companies of interest. And you can reach out to employees for informational interviews. So a friend of mine was looking for a job. He identified this company that it was a dream company. And then he looked at employees. So you can look up engineer in LinkedIn, engineer, Google. Okay. And he reached out to this person. He said, I'll buy you coffee. Can you come and talk to me about this company? This very nice engineer came and talked to him for an hour. He said, whenever you find a job that you like, I will do a referral for you. So yes, people are kind and they trust you. They know you're great. They can do a referral for you. But also people do referrals for you because they get money. Okay. So in companies like Intel, AMD, I know that they pay about $3,000 if you refer someone who gets hired. So some do it out of the kindness of their heart and some are interested in getting the money. So it is estimated between 50 and 80% of hires come from referrals, although refer applicants are less than 10% of the candidate pool. And we're getting to the last slide and then we'll start the dialogue. Okay, take home notes. You have to acknowledge the landscape. Many companies have paused or decreased recruitment. We've been on a hiring freeze and semi-hiring freeze since February at CIRES, University of Colorado at Boulder. Your job search will be long. The market is very competitive. Build your professional network. Even if you don't need it today, you may need it tomorrow. Take breaks, take weekends, exercise, go outside, be with people, be in nature, do whatever makes you feel well when you're not working on a job search. And remember, don't take it personally because AI is incapable of empathy. Okay? The results of your job search have nothing to do with your value as a person and with your value as a professional. Okay? Alrighty, well, thank you so much for attending. I'm excited to be here, and let's get to the questions. Alrighty, so I see the first one from Joab, and he said, or they say, you mentioned CV should not change for different applications. What about experience or parts of the CV that are not relevant to the job you're applying for? Is it okay to trim the CV specifically for the job application? Yes, absolutely do that. And what I meant is that the CV and the LinkedIn profile should talk to each other the most. I cannot see your CV and then go to your LinkedIn profile, because if I'm interested in you, I am going to your LinkedIn profile. Go to your LinkedIn profile and see that there is a complete disconnect. Yes, you can do small trims and you can take things off. However, are you really going to be taking things in and out of LinkedIn? No, probably not, unless you're completely obsessed with this company and these 2-3 jobs that they posted, and you most care about your LinkedIn and your CV reflecting that. Absolutely, you can make small changes, and you should be making small changes. Okay, so Katerini says, isn't it that cover letters for academic positions have to summarize your research skills and the teaching and mentoring skill and how they fit in the position, rather than explicitly focusing on the university goals, especially when the position does not include your very detailed descriptions? Yes, thank you for catching me on this. So what I was talking about today, and this is a correction, Katerini, thank you, that I will make in my slides. Today, when I was talking about focus on how you can contribute to that job, that is absolutely a cover letter for industry. Yes, everything you're mentioning here about what a cover letter for an academic position should be, it's what you're saying, and special interest in your PhD dissertation if you are applying to that level of a role. Your PhD thesis should be very clearly summarized in 1 or 2 paragraphs. Your research achievements, your teaching abilities, completely correct. So I was describing a non-academic industry cover letter for today's job market. Thank you. To save space, is it okay to not include the additional experiences from way in the past? I've started cutting those out, even if they're relevant. Absolutely. Yeah, Katie. That is for someone who thinks 10 years of experience that they did 15 years ago is very relevant. I'll give you an example. I'm in HR, but I was a professor before. And so if I were to apply for a position that is in training, I would absolutely want to reference that experience from back in 2005. Why? Because being a professor has a lot to do with talent development, right? And it's very old experience, but for me, it's super relevant, and I would hope that others would see that. Yes, you can absolutely not include it if you don't think it adds much to it. Just a note, in some countries, photos and resumes are more common, so it is important to do research specific to the location you're applying in. In the US, Canada, and UK, they do not generally recommend photos due to anti-discrimination laws. Thank you, Mariama. Yeah, you're right. Okay. You can have the open to work banner without LinkedIn Premium. Thank you, Katie. Okay, so let's talk about the banner, right? The banner around your picture that says open to work. There's nothing wrong with it. And you have to be careful. If you are sitting at a job and you want to find another job, is it going to hurt you to have the open to work? Maybe your boss knows that you're in a manager role, but you want a director role. They're completely fine with that. So always evaluate whether that is a smart move. If you're out of a job, I would by all means have the open to work banner, because recruiters are paid for finding people who qualified. And so if they see you're open to work, they go there and they're more likely to contact you rather than be calling to people who are probably not looking, or they don't know if they're looking. Okay. Okay, thank you, Carl, too. Okay, if you are at other institutions looking to what your home institution provides to you for free too. And also research. Talk to Copilot. I first found through Learning a free certification from Microsoft in project management at $0 by asking Copilot, what are free certifications in project management? And I didn't want to pay the Project Management Institute $600. And so I found this one for free, and it's from Microsoft. Okay. Alrighty. Hi, Jimena. Let's see. Okay. How should you handle your CV on your LinkedIn if you're looking for both industry and academic positions? I say pick one. What is your preference? Okay. And what I think is good too is going back to the strategy and the timeline. Give yourself a timeline for where you want to put your focus. And when you're ready to switch it, you can switch it. Now, do you have a preference? Is it academic your preference? Is it in industry your preference? And just put slightly more weight in your preference. Now, if you are applying to a startup, no, you cannot include in your resume your list of 100 publications. I mean, we literally get CVs that are 12 pages long and have 100 publications. Is that a recommendation that I would do? No, not to anybody. I would never recommend that you include 100 publications in your CV. I don't care how good they are. You should pick the most relevant, okay? And that can be in your LinkedIn profile. If you are applying mainly for academics and you want to include those, that's fine. But if you're including, if your main focus is on industry, you can say selected publications, and you can say, that other publications, are just make a reference to that you're only doing a selection. Okay. And if you're applying for an industry job, I would not include the publications at all unless they are hiring for someone who specializes in glaciers and you have published 5 positions in glaciers. And I'm talking about a company, right? So always be smart about that, but I would by no means have in a LinkedIn profile a list of 50 publications. It doesn't matter if I want to get an academic position. I would still taper it down. Okay, some of you have 2 specializations like program management and evaluation. Program management and evaluation go hand in hand. So program manager, all of us who have access to a free certification in program manager, I don't care if you are a teacher, I don't care if you're a technician, I don't care if you're in customer service, every single one of us should have a certification in program management if you can get one for free. So program management is compatible. Program management and project management are compatible with every single career in this earth. So program management is going to be compatible with everything you've done, every single career, even in software development, okay? Because it gives you the leadership, it gives you the organization, it gives you the ability to prioritize, the skill to prioritize. You can also have the open to work banner be hidden. You can have it in there for recruiters, but not for everyone to see. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Katie. What about including links to Google Scholar or ResearchGate profiles, particularly for organizations? Absolutely, yes. So there is this gray area for search committee members that they don't know if they can look up your Google Scholar link if you didn't include it. And I get that question all the time. And my recommendation is always, is it academic? Yes, go ahead and check Google Scholar. Now, obviously, don't go into the person's Facebook and don't go into the person's IG, right? But yes, if you have the links to the Google Scholar, to ResearchGate, to your coding pages, your coding repositories, all of those links are great, okay? How is it viewed with early career researchers add in their CVs submitted or publications in preparation? Absolutely, yes. That's wonderful. If you have publications in preparation, that is absolutely wonderful. And if it is a key publication and you are older in the profession, that's good too. And, resume reviewers have different expectations. You're not going to expect the same for a postdoc associate that you're expecting for a senior research scientist, right? And publications in preparations are great. It tells them that you know that you have to publish and you're working on it. You may not have been published yet, but you are doing all the right steps. And I absolutely think that is a good idea. Let's say you make it through the interview stage, but are not offered the position. Would it be appropriate to reach out to the hiring manager? Yes, absolutely, 100%. I am on the other side. Is sometimes uncomfortable when someone asks you for feedback. Don't be taken aback if they only offer you. So it's not going to be a conversation because it's an area of liability. But you can say, "Thank you so much. I was delighted to make it to the interview stage, and I wanted to ask you. This would be so helpful for me. Would you be willing to give me some feedback?" So when I get those messages, I ask the hiring committee and they give me specific feedback. Now, I'm not going to be a back and forth with that person. I'm going to write a single email with the feedback. And in my closing, I'm going to tell them, good luck in your professional search. So some people are standoffish because of the liability, and some of the candidates that ask for feedback are very aggressive. Okay. And so you want to be extremely, extremely kind in asking for the feedback because you almost made it. And if the person they hire leaves to follow their partner in their career out of state and they need someone hybrid, you may be next in line. So don't close any doors. Asking for feedback is very appropriate. Okay. So how about a link to Scholar's GPS? I have seen that requirement. I don't know what Scholar GPS is, but if you can explain, put it in the chat, Lena, or yourself. I mean, if it's something that you produce as a scholar, if it is showcasing your abilities, your skills, absolutely, by all means, yes, include it. Okay, so let me respond to Giselle's question and then we'll go to anonymous questions. Can you explain core competencies and skills a bit more? Is this a separate section in the resume? Yes, it is a separate section and you can take a look at the template that we share. Maybe Madison, you can share that again. And so one thing is your education. You have a PhD in polar science. Another thing is your years of experience. You were a professor for 2 years at the University of Oklahoma. So your education is your PhD. Your experience is that you were an assistant professor of polar science at the University of Oklahoma. And then you have your skills. Because you have a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, you have specific skills that are also programming languages that someone may not have any idea that you have. So the skills, core competencies, describe your knowledge, skills, and ability. It is the result. They are the result of your education and your experience, but they may very well come from a training that you did. Like you may be in literature or polar science and be doing courses on data analytics and Python. So that's where you list the ability to lead groups, excellent expertise in programming with Python and Fortran. So knowledge, skills, and abilities titled as skills or core competencies are the result of your education and experience. Okay. Oh, GPS Scholar shows a map of the research and its effect. Yeah, I think that's great. Yes, and we had some anonymous questions, Maddie.
Yeah, so we have time for one question, which is perfect because you only have one question. I'm going to post it in the chat and read it off. What would you say is the most effective way to demonstrate your qualifications in a cover letter?
I would share the statistics associated with my impact in the resume. If it's something major that you want to include in the cover letter, that's fine. What is the most effective, efficient way to demonstrate your qualifications in a cover letter? By underlining your achievements, but also by showcasing your transferable experience. So when you're writing a cover letter, you have to make the reader believe that this is the only cover letter you're writing and this is the only job that you're applying to. And sometimes it's true. And you have to make the connection. You have to make the connection through keywords. You have to make the connection through highlighting your experience. And you have to show people that you know front and back what the job is about that they posted, what the company is about, and how your past experience and your knowledge, skills, and abilities have prepared you for this. So the most efficient way is to establish an outstanding and clear connection between the job and the company and your experience.
Thank
Yes.
you so much. Yeah, so that was our last question. So I want to say thank you so much again to Jimena for joining us and presenting to both the SECO and CIRES folks. That's a lot of great answers. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Mariama. And
Yeah, thanks everyone. We hope that you found the event useful and we encourage you to attend future Prosecco events. We're always open to feedback in terms of what folks are looking for as well. Like this webinar came directly out of hearing from folks in the community that they wanted more guidance on cover letters and job applications in general. So please reach out if you have an idea that you think would be interesting for Prosecco to devise an event around. You can stay up to date on the events and upcoming activities of Prosecco by subscribing to our newsletter or joining the Prosecco community Slack. I'll note that on the screen right now, we call out we're going to be at AGU and we have multiple events there. So please connect with us there. And also anyone going to AGU who's in the polar space of we have created a handy little guide for you to see all the polar sessions because if anyone can relate to being overwhelmed by the AGU agenda and schedule, we've tried to make it easier for you to navigate the sessions there. And on that guide are the Prosecco events that are called out on the screen too. Prosecco and Jimena would love your feedback, so please fill out the post-event survey in the chat so we can make future events even better and we can use that to inform what we do in the future. Thanks again, Jimena, for your wonderful presentation. Thank you, everyone, for being so engaged and for all of the great questions, and we hope you have a really great afternoon. Thanks so much.